Hi, this is Professor Sinead Chapman, and for week 6, we are looking more into usability testing, understanding quantitative metrics and analytics, and also diving into some specific types of testing like A/B testing. So, first, I would just give you a few of my tips for effective usability testing. Definitely setting up a environment for your user where they feel comfortable, where they feel heard, where they have a safe space and know that there really are no wrong answers. That is really a session to learn more about what's working and what needs to be improved. So I always say we are testing the software, we are not testing you. And many UX people use the same mantra. Also want to share that it's really important to be observant and to watch what people are doing more so than what they say. So what they say and those interview style questions are definitely helpful and they have their place. But people sometimes can give conflicting information. So that's why it's very important that not only we listen to what they say, but we observe and take note of what they do. So watch your users completing tasks in the prototype and use that information after the session and analyze that data across different participants. Do you have multiple participants who struggle to complete a task? Is the task completion rate low for 80% of your participants or just 20% of your participants? So you definitely want to take mindfulness of areas that are a challenge for many of the participants. So identifying patterns, identifying common themes and common challenges is really important as you collect that data and do some quantifiable analysis of how many people can complete tasks and also funnels. So where in the process, where in the workflow are people dropping off? Where are people finding difficulty? Where are people finding frustration? Is it in the first step of your funnel? Is it in the third step of your funnel? Or is it in the last step right before they actually make a purchase or complete the action? So finding out that information, doing that data analysis across different participants is definitely helpful in understanding the landscape and true metrics of what's working well and what needs to be improved in applications and software. You also can use that for baseline testing. So we talked about that previously. You can have baseline testing that shows what is effective and what is ineffective before any UX changes are made. And then when you have new concepts, when you have new mock-ups and new prototypes, you can do testing low fidelity, so very basic, can be black, white, gray, and just really shows the content in the process. Or you could do high fidelity, so pixel perfect. It's looking very much like the final solution that will be coded up by developers in mock-up form. So if you use high fidelity prototypes, then it's going to be very similar to the real experience, the look and feel once it's been coded as well. It just won't have the development, the coding functionality set up. And you'll tell your users beforehand that there may be a few things in the prototype that may not work as expected because everything isn't coded, and you can alert them to some of that as they go through the process as well, if it's not going to conflict with the data that you need to collect. So definitely knowing what information is most important to collect So there are times when I do testing, I tell users I may not be able to answer all your questions because I want to understand what can you discover without additional information, like what's intuitive to you. And if there is something where I can give them a little bit of a hint or a little bit of information to keep them going in the process in order to get to a specific step, I will do that. So really knowing the product and knowing where it makes sense to give hints and where it makes sense to not give hints, and allow the user to struggle a bit to understand how users would behave in real environments, and what types of workarounds would they create, and what types of processes would they expect to see when they are struggling. So this is definitely a way to understand more about your users, doing prototyping tests and collecting quantifiable data across many of your participants, analyzing that data, doing baseline testing, and then also going back after you have made updates in the UX and doing testing again to determine the return on investment, to return if the UX changes were indeed helpful and valuable to your users. So this is my recap on this week's lesson on usability testing, using analytical data and testing with users in an effective way, and communicating and facilitating great testing sessions. Thank you.